speak tonight. I'm fairly glad, given the political climate that we live in this day and age, that you didn't ask to see my birth certificate. And the other thing I was going to say is that, looking at the panel tonight, I don't know your background, but I'm willing to say that I might be the only native-born Iowan on there. Is that right? Or you're okay, sorry. You know how my prejudice get the best of me. So I just basically wanted to share with you briefly that the Catholic Church is not the only religious body in the United States that is advocating for immigration reform, or the reform of immigration. The underpinnings for that advocacy for immigration comes from Catholic social teaching, and this for the Catholic Church. First of all, we believe in the innate dignity of the human person, because we believe that the human person is created in God's image, and so there's that innate dignity of life and the human person. Then there is the call to family, that the family is the basic unit of society, and that as an entity of society, we are all called to be social beings. And that not only in that reality of being called to be social beings, that we are called to active participation in seeking the common good of society. We also believe in the fundamental option for the poor and the vulnerable. In Matthew's Gospel, we see Jesus in the Last Judgment, and what is the criteria for entering into heaven? It is whether we fed the hungry, we clothed the naked, whether we welcomed the stranger, whether we visited the sick, taking care of the most vulnerable in society. Also, it's based upon the dignity of work and the dignity of workers. The premise is that the economy is at the service of the person and not the other way around. Also, there's a call that every person has the fundamental right to life, and that not only right of life, but also a call to responsibility in exercising the good in society. Also, there's a call to solidarity. Pope Paul VI had this tremendous quote that I think applies to this whole question of immigration. He says, if you want peace, work for justice. And as human beings, as a society, we are also called to care for God's creation, protecting people and protecting the planet. So all that is the underpinning for Catholic social teaching, particularly on this issue of immigration. As I said, the Catholic Church is not the only one that's advocating for the reform of immigration. All the different major religious denominations are doing the same. The Church is called and has currently a campaign. It's called Justice for Immigrants. It's sponsored by the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, in our bulletin here at St. Patrick's, we had this given out in our bulletins. And basically, it's a postcard campaign directed to all the different elected officials, both here from the state of Iowa, well, of course, from the state of Iowa because St. Patrick's is in Iowa, but to our senators and our Congress, congressional delegation. And basically, it's calling for these things: a broad-based legalization of the undocumented that promotes the unification of families, that works for the reform of employment-based immigration, the reform of the employment-based immigration system, the abandonment of a policy that is strictly enforcement only, and for restoration of due process and protection for immigrants. And that's basically what the Catholic Church is advocating for. I personally work with the Gamaliel Foundation, which is an international organizing institute made up of, it's an interfaith group made up of different individuals, different churches and denominations, interfaith from the standpoint that we have Jews and we have Muslims that work alongside with us in advocating for, in this particular issue, on this particular issue of immigration reform. So I'm part of the panel, and I'm willing to also share any particular perspectives or answer any questions that you may have.